What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Too Much Test Podcast, episode 38. I'm Test Your Levels. I'm here with it's Sam. Oh, there's Sam. Sam was doing something. So what's going on, guys? Thank you guys for being here. We love you guys listen to us. If you are newer, we would love if you subscribe, leave a review, click a plus. We also check out our brands below and other stuff that we're associated with. thetriggerbrand.com, HC Gains, Too Much Test, Defy Medical, all kinds of stuff. So thanks you guys for watching. And Sam, how's it going, bud?
Hey, what's up, brother? It is great to see you again. I'm enjoying these. I'm looking forward to talking about Semaglutide and Testosterone and this other 5 amino 1 and Q stuff. But life is great. Life is very good. I am doing very well. The stuff that I'm learning about is Chad. What's good? Go when TYL mustache. When are you gonna get a mustache, bro?
Never. There's a reason that I am on TRT. I am not a facial hair guy. Like this, there's not even hair. Like there's no connection at this point. I'm not a facial hair guy. This is probably 2 days. Like this is most guys 5 o'clock shadow. This is 2 days for me.
What about the mustache? Can you do just the mustache?
I probably could. I'm not going to though. It's just not going to happen.
For anybody who's listening to the podcast afterwards and not watching this live on YouTube, I have a what would you call this? A 1970s mustache. It goes past my lips a little bit. I call it the pussy tickler. And I'm gonna let this grow out for the rest of the month, dude. Just see how until I can't handle it anymore.
Bro, people are gonna think when you knock on someone's door, they're gonna think you're coming to investigate them or some shit like that. You look like a cop.
Yeah, no, dude. Especially with the shaved head.
Officer Sam coming to steal your PEDs.
People already think I'm a little strange when I go to the store.
Rock a mullet and I'll be happy. That's awesome. Well, I guess we'll start off on kind of a light topic. I want to talk about sauna, and I've been super into sauna. I've been watching lots of videos on sauna. I love the sauna mainly because it's kind of like I'm getting exercise, but I'm sitting on my ass. So if you're kind of the sauna is fantastic. You can actually, I was reading, you can actually get your heart rate up to about 150 degrees in a sauna, depending on the heat.
150 degrees?
Or 150 beats per minute. I'm sorry. 150 beats per minute. And I actually checked on my phone, and I was sitting in there for about 5-10 minutes, and my heart rate was about 105, 110. And that's just from sitting in a hot room.
It doesn't have something to do with there's a shitload of health benefits, but something I've heard of with heat shock proteins, but it's also great for cardiovascular stuff.
Tons of health benefits. So I didn't get to put together a full list of all the benefits, but essentially it draws a lot of the blood out of your core, out to your skin and into your muscles to help with your sweating. You're getting rid of, you're excreting heavy metals like copper and, all the bad shit. But it's also helping pull nutrients and stuff into your muscles. So they say it's really good after workouts because you're getting more blood into your muscles, which delivers nutrients and, all that good stuff.
Wow. Wait a second. Before you get into, I want to hear those things. So wait a second. I'm not aware of this. So when, what's up to the chat here, Chad and Rushkinson. So when you go to the sauna, the blood rushes from the center of your body to the extremities to try to excrete or dissipate heat faster.
I don't know if it's necessarily to dissipate the heat, but it's to help with the sweating. Because when you go in a sauna, you instantly start sweating. That's your body's natural response to cool down. And I can't remember all the mechanisms behind it, but it pulls a lot of stuff outside of your core, pumps blood into your muscles, which obviously that's why guys who are working out, when they talk about the pump, and that's one of the big things in the industry, skin splitting pumps, and all that shit. But yeah, after you work out and you've got that pump, even if you don't, you go in there, your biceps are tore up from working out real hard, and then you get a bunch of blood going through them so it can deliver all those good nutrients to them.
Wow. I want to put a sauna in my backyard.
Dude, I'm looking at it. I'm looking for the cheapest fucking way I can do this. But my wife is not really down with me putting up like a plywood box. Like I just spent a bunch of money like redoing my whole backyard and getting a pool and a screen. And I'm talking about just buying plywood like from a hurricane relief shit and just bolting that shit together.
Well, like when you look at it, they're actually really well insulated in order to get up to that. So I was like, because I'm redoing my backyard as well. And I was looking because I definitely want a sauna in the backyard. And I was looking at it. You'll build the shell of the sauna, and then they'll insulate the inside of the sauna, and then have the heater run in there. Then you'll put like a top layer of stuff on there that's very tightly fitted together, just because otherwise, if you have the holes, then it doesn't get up to the temperature you want or maintain the temperature you want. So yeah. Are you gonna end up doing them? They're like $1,500 to like $10,000 or something.
Yeah, well, I don't want the infrared ones because there's infrared and there's heat, and the infrared it's like a microwave almost, but and all of them advertise say like low electromagnetic frequencies. Like I don't know if I want any giant thing plugged into like a fucking 240 volt wall outlet that's low electromagnetic. I don't want it. I want frying my balls any more than they're already fried from TRT. You know what I'm saying? I want some just straight up. I want some fucking hot plate action with some rocks on there. I want to throw some water on there. I want to do it old school.
Hey, you can sun your taint that way with the infrared, right?
What was that?
Have you heard of the sunning your taint? Like
yeah. Sunning your balls and your taint. Yeah, dude, I tried that. My neighbors were not a fan at all. It was they were not feeling it.
I wonder if that would actually do anything. It doesn't feel like it would, but there's also weird shit like icing your balls that does work. So, I
think overall the reason, and I always like to bring everything back to like evolution, like, all right, so I'm fucking caveman. I'm walking through. I'm prehistoric man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to be walking around probably naked a good amount of the time during the day. So my balls, whatever else, that whole area is probably going to be getting a lot more sunlight than if I'm walking around with pants on all day. So, I mean, there could be something to it. I mean, I don't know who's going to pay to do a study with a bunch of guys sunning their balls and their taints. Yeah. I don't know who's going to pay for that.
TYO, you just have to watch these 37 men bend the fuck over and have their butt cheeks on it. Make sure they get at least 30 minutes. I want to hear that list of the stuff with the sauna. But Chad Donnerschwanz, Huberman, I think that's Dr. Huberman.
Yeah, he's been on Rogan.
Said multiple times, I think. Says 30 minutes, 4 times a week cuts cardiovascular event risk by 50%. Bro, that's crazy. 50% is massive.
Yeah. So basically, the more you go in, the longer you can stay in. I mean, there's limits, obviously. You don't want to be cooking, but the longer and the more often you go in, it seems there's more benefits. So I'll just read some shit that I popped up on the screen here that I wrote down from a couple different studies. So one of the studies showed that men who used the sauna 2 to 3 times per week were for about 15 to 20 minutes had an 18% reduction in the risk of fatal coronary heart disease. But those who went 4 to 7 times a week experienced a further 20% reduction in risk. Long-term sauna use was also found to improve left ventricular function and blood pressure, and the left ventricle is one that gets fucked up by steroids. So, finally,
it also improves blood pressure.
Yeah. Suppose it helps. That's one of the big ones that can help blood pressure because it kind of like exercises your cardiovascular system because it's dealing with that more blood. It's pumping the blood more. It's almost like doing cardio, but not. And it's like putting your body through stress to where your body has to kind of strengthen to deal with that stress. So check this one out. This one's pretty crazy too. Found to have 4 to 7 times a week. We're found to have a 60% reduction in risk for Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia.
What did you say? 60% reduction?
60%. Yeah.
Wow. I got to tell my dad to fucking start doing this shit.
Now, a lot of these are observational studies. You know what I'm saying? They're not like double blind, placebo, all of this, but hey, it's what we've got. So if something's pulling 60% in an observational study, you could probably say with pretty good standing that it's pretty fucking beneficial one way or the other.
Yeah.
But this last one, the two largest studies of this review, they did 2,300 men in Finland over 21 years, roughly, frequent sauna use, found 66% reduction in dementia, 65% reduction in Alzheimer's disease, 63% risk reduction of sudden cardiac death, and 40% risk reduction of all cause mortality.
Wow. Holy crap.
Like literally just sitting your ass in a hot room for 15, 20 minutes a day. That's it. And those are the benefits you can get.
Well, they are like observational. So like, you know, the people who are going to go into the sauna are probably slightly more health conscious than other people, but still, like, how do you take into consideration that, right? Like, well, you don't work out, okay, so we'll put you in this study. And, well, I don't go to the sauna either. You know what I mean, kind of thing. Like, how do you go through and actually test that? Because people who don't go to the gym, I don't know, maybe it's just because I've been doing this for 20 years, but like, people who don't go to the gym, I don't know that use a sauna. Like, I'm sure there's people out there, but I don't know them.
Probably not too many.
Right.
There's not too many people that won't get their ass on a treadmill that are going to drop like 2 G's on a sauna. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, correct. So I'm redoing the backyard.
Yeah.
And I want to either buy or build a sauna back there with a ice bath right next to it, because there's you look at like all the benefits related to sauna use and regular use and consistent use over time. And I don't remember all the details, but doing it for the ice bath is very similar, but just on a different realm of things, and doing back and forth. I'm like, okay, this is what. Yeah. The ice bath one is going to be really challenging. The sauna's super easy, but the ice bath.
Yeah, and that goes back to there's something called like heat shock proteins, and I don't know exactly what they are, but essentially they only come out and play when you're under like stress from heat. And what they do is once they're activated, they float around the body and they like help. You know how like proteins like fold, and like that's how they kind of do their thing. They fold and shit. Well, if they start folding all fucky and all weird, then your shit gets messed up. Your cells get messed up, and these heat shock proteins kind of go through and make sure these proteins fold the way they're supposed to, like normally. And I don't remember the exact benefits, but it's good for you in one way or the other.
So heat shock proteins actually help so that they don't get like deformed kind of thing?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, your cells are always like turning over and doing stuff, but when they turn over the wrong way, I guess, you know, certain things get messed up. So that's one of the things that give you most of the benefits are those heat shock proteins. It's pretty interesting, dude.
So are you gonna end up putting one in at your house?
One way or another. Like I was thinking, I'm like, they have like these little tents that you can get from China. It's a little tent, and like I don't know why they can't make like a 6-foot one that I can just like sit down in and my whole body goes in, but they have the ones where it just goes up to your head. So your little head's just like sticking out, and you just look like a tent with a head. And then they have like little arm things so you can like use your phone at the same time. I'm like, this is stupid. But dude, I'm like, yo, if I get some plywood, I'll bolt that shit together. I'll spray some of that expanding foam. I'm going to get this thing ghetto. I'm going to get the biggest space heater I can get. Just throw a fucking griddle with some rocks on top, dude, and just pour water on that. But $2,000's a lot for a damn sauna, but I'll probably end up buying one. And the way my back porch is set up, dude, is I could literally like be sitting in the sauna, butt ass naked, hot, 30 minutes. I could open the door. I could literally walk like 7 feet forward and fall my ass into the pool and like cool off, which would be like kind of like cold therapy, but you know what I'm saying?
But I think you should buy one. I think you should buy one because you're going to be so much happier having a high quality sauna that like you're not planning on moving anytime soon. You share with me, right? So getting that thing that can invest into your health, right? You and your girl can go in there together, you know, get one that's at least big enough for 2 people. You guys can have some fun in there. You know what I mean? It'll just be a better experience by like having the higher quality sauna. I've been shifting that like perspective around this. And when I bought the Tesla, 2.5, 3 years ago at this point. I was always like, I would buy the thing that was like, I wouldn't say the cheapest, but I was always searching for like that angle a little bit. And as I bought the Tesla, right, and then I was like, wow, this is very nice. Like, I get tremendous amount of value personally from owning the Tesla, and I don't give a shit if other people see me in it or anything. I fucking like it because, like, I talk to you about it because I think it's awesome. It's a cool thing to have. Like, when you get a brand new iPhone or something, or phone or widget or whatever, like we get new tech shit that we were excited about. And I noticed that was like the kind of a pivotal point, or when I started to change that perspective a little bit. And I know that you'll be way happier if you just go through and spend that $2,000, $2,500, get that one at Home Depot with interest-free financing for 12 months and just pay it off as quickly as possible. But having that higher quality one, you're going to enjoy so much more. Like, I enjoyed the Tesla 1,000x more than what I did the other shit that I had, like previous cars or things that I've driven or whatever in the past.
Let's buy once, cry once, and there's buy once, cry once. There's a limit to it. I mean, there's a value, like there's certain things like TVs, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so I've got the 7 series 4K 70-inch TV, like the 8 series is an extra $1,500 and it's got HDR and this extra bullshit. There's a law of diminishing returns, but I think something, so I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, all I need to do is have a fucking heat source and a box. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shouldn't be this hard, but when you get older, you want shit to look nice, my wife doesn't want some fucking jalopy ass looking sauna. Hurricane comes, it's, becomes a weapon for the neighbors going through their windows and shit. But
and I think you'll get more out of it too, because you're going to just enjoy it more. But then again, like, so I'm like, okay, I want one. I'm going to put one in the backyard at some point, hopefully by the end of the year. Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, I need to figure out how to make more money and or cut back on this other thing that is not as valuable to me to get that thing that is more valuable to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because bro, the sauna's going to last you for 10 years easily. Like,
oh yeah,
you might
absolutely. Have to. So you figure that's $200 a year? Yeah, I mean that's well worth it.
Yeah, and then the cardiovascular benefits and the health risks to it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
massively.
Well, let's talk about semaglutide, because that is like the hottest like peptide medicine on the market. And if you want to do some more research on this, I mean, obviously check out the triggeredbrand.com. So if you want to get some information and do some research, check that out. HC Gains, there's no research for that on there. But I mean, that's everywhere. Everywhere I look, the people are talking about semaglutide, and I don't know much about it, so maybe you could just let us know a little bit about what you know.
So actually, it's interesting. I was in Facebook groups earlier today. I was like, I wonder if there's Facebook groups around semaglutide, right? Because we've talked about this offline, how if you look at like Google Trends, which is like, Google's the largest search engine in the world, and they track people's search history. And when you look at semaglutide, and this is based upon people's actual searches, so like, what are human beings actually interested in? Because then they're going to look for that shit online, whether that's on Google or on YouTube. And you do that for semaglutide, and it's just up and to the right. Like, it's just like a boom, right? You're dabbing that shit. And so I looked on Facebook, and there's multiple groups. One of them had like 1,000 people, one of them had like 4,500 people. And you're like, that doesn't sound like a lot of people. But remember, we're in like a niche of a niche of a niche. Like, we're like really far down the rabbit hole. So you're not talking about like millions and millions of people, but to like already have an audience on something that is so new and interest is continuing to increase on that. It's like stuff like this is going to continue to expand in the future. So semaglutide is a GLP-1 agonist. It's glucagon glucagon-like peptide, I think it is.
Yeah, glucagon, yeah. And glucagon, it helps regulate insulin from what I've read, and kind of helps with regulate hunger as well. And then I also saw that semaglutide can help lower blood pressure. There's some cardiovascular benefits, and then it also, I think it helps you digest your food slower, so you have more satiety, whatever. You don't feel hungry like I do all the time.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild.
So there's so it's an agonist, right? So you have antagonists and agonists. For people listening, it took me a while to figure out what's the difference, right? Well, an agonist will bind to the receptor, the GLP-1 receptor. And when it binds to that receptor, what it does is it activates it. Whereas an antagonist will bind to the receptor, kind of fucking just block that shit so nothing else can get to the receptor to activate it. So if you think of tamoxifen, right? Tamoxifen or Novodex, right? Same thing, generic versus brand. What does that do? It binds to the estrogen receptor in your chest, so that estrogen can't bind to that receptor. Right, for men, it stimulates CSPT access to thus produce LH and testosterone. Right. Well, what this does, there's these I think it's like incretins or something like that, and it's on the edge of the pancreas, and they help with the release of or something related to insulin. And they don't fully, from my understanding, they don't fully understand how this does this, but there's beta cells in or around the pancreas or around these incretins or insulets or whatever they're called around the pancreas. And it helps either restore those or regenerate those or protect them, and has a very profound effect on lowering blood sugar levels and increasing insulin sensitivity. I think these things are awesome. Have you ever heard of, there's a compound in, I think, spinach? Let's see if I can find this.
Actually, while you're doing that, while you're looking that up, sometimes I have an issue with things like agonists and antagonists, like the reverse. I always get fucked up. And the way you kind of explained that was pretty good. The agonist kind of goes in and it kind of locks into that receptor. It locks in and it really just lets kind of things happen. Whereas you're saying the antagonist kind of goes there and it's kind of like a cock block. So yes. The agonist is going in there and it's it's time to party. Let's do this. You know what I'm saying? And the agonist,
it's like a good wingman versus like a cock block.
Yeah. So antagonist, garbage, stop cock blocking. But
unless you look at the tamoxifen side, right? Because then on that side, the cock block is good, right? Because tamoxifen binds to the estrogen receptor. Right.
I just wanted to do this on camera. That's pretty much it.
Jay Brody, what's good, bro? Would semaglutide be bad for a lean bulk? Does it prevent hypertrophy via IGF down regulation? So one of the effects of semaglutide, as TYL just mentioned, is on satiety, or I don't even know if I'm saying that right? The sensation of feeling satisfied or full, that whatever that word is to describe that. And so if you need to be in a caloric surplus, it may be challenging potentially to eat enough high quality food if your appetite's reduced, right? So the effect of that fucking, word salad that I was just describing is that, your appetite's reduced. So if your appetite's reduced and you're trying to do it lean, that means would imply that you're trying to do it in a healthier way, like how I'm interpreting this, right? So if I'm trying to eat healthier, but at a surplus of calories, and my appetite's decreased, sometimes people find that challenging to do. Now, in terms of hypertrophy and IGF downregulation, depends on if the person's in gear, in my opinion. I haven't seen anything in the literature I've read. Have you seen anything on that? If somebody's taking gear, I don't think they're going to have any issues.
I haven't. I think if you're looking at this, I think it depends on how long you're taking it for. Whether it does, let's just say it does through IGF downregulation, it does hinder a little muscle. Let's say you're taking it for 3 months and lost 15 pounds and hit your target, cutness or body fat. Is it worth it? I would think so. You know what I'm saying? If it does, and I don't know if it does, but fuck it, just blast a little bit after you're done. You know what I'm saying?
there's things like you could supplement into that to kind of like compensate for it. I think of super interesting stack, by the way. I don't know if we mentioned this, but we should definitely mention this is not what we talked about is not any endorsement or recommendation for the use of or administration of. This is strictly for entertainment and educational purposes. You should talk to your fucking doctor about anything that we talked about in this video. But an interesting combination, MK677 and or any like agonist, ghrelin agonist or HGH agonist, or thing to increase HGH, and semaglutide. Right? What are the side effects of MK677? You have a decrease in insulin, and this is not across the board. This is for a small subset of people who don't know how to fucking control their diets to start with, right, or have shitty diets. But that subset of people who probably have shitty insulin sensitivity and high blood sugar levels to start with can see an increase in blood sugar levels and a decrease in insulin sensitivity. And what else? Because it's a ghrelin agonist, right? It's binding to that receptor and is activating ghrelin. Ghrelin is that hunger hormone. So you have an increase in appetite, a decrease in insulin sensitivity, and an increase in blood sugar levels, right? 3 fucking bad things for most of the population.
Yeah.
But when you stack that, say, with semaglutide, what's semaglutide? Reduces appetite, increases insulin sensitivity, decreases blood sugar levels. They're like exactly opposing in the right ways. So if there is, and I don't know if there is or not, but if there is IGF downregulation because of semaglutide, possible. I don't know. I have never seen that in the data, but that does not mean that it's not there. MK677 could offset that super easily. Right?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. And that's when you start getting into like, and that's why I always found Tony Hughes interesting, is because he'd look at something like that and he would do like a full video on like MK677 plus semaglutide, and say like, okay, well, if you're worried about this for semaglutide, and then, you could throw in some MK677, kind of balance them out to, whatever. I always just found that it's interesting that you have 2 compounds that do like almost the exact same thing or opposite thing.
Right. And it's like perfectly offset from
it's
each
almost
other.
Like an agonist and an antagonist. If anyone's asking, I'm doing the circle finger having sex type of motion, just so you know.
In case anybody is listening to this and they're like, I have no idea what you efforts are talking about because you're watching a video.
We have a YouTube channel. Look up Too Much Test Podcast on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel so you can watch us. So you can watch me make finger fucking movements if you so wish to.
So this is an interesting question from Samuel here. By the way, that's an awesome, awesome name, Samuel. That's also my name. Samuel Turner. What about semaglutide and AOD-964 plus S4? You want to talk about this for a quick second? I'm going to actually look up AOD again because I haven't looked into it in about a year. I'm not very familiar with either of these compounds. I haven't really gone down the rabbit hole with a lot of these like new peptides and nootropics and stuff like that. I've been kind of out of the game ever since my YouTube channel got taken down. Like I've been working on getting my new channel up and getting new like graphics and all that. I haven't really done shit in this space in a while. And we have Sandy Beach. Sandy Beach, thank you for watching. Sandy Beach is awesome. I think, if I remember correctly, she is in the pharmacy world or that arena, not to blow up anybody's spot, but she's also into peptides. Okay, so Samuel, I was just trying to do a little bit of a refresher on AOD-964. So semaglutide we just covered. What is AOD? AOD is another peptide. I think it has oral bioavailability, and it effectively reduces body weight or fat. It's also extremely safe from where we currently are in the understanding of it. It has the FDA, or I think it's the FDA, has a Farm D. So Sandy should come on the show sometime, and we should just shop Sandy. So AOD has a GRAS rating. What that means is generally regarded as safe. So when something has a GRAS rating, it can actually be sold as a supplement because it's generally regarded as safe, right? That's the same type of shit that's in food. You could have like seed oils are not safe. They're horrible for you. They will F your fucking shit up in terms of your endocrine or your hormones. They will just mess up your shit. Maybe in the future. Have a great stream. Thank you for stopping by, Sandy. It was awesome to see you on here. And if you're available or would like to come on and talk shop in the future, you are welcome to. So I don't remember the full action of how AOD works, but the idea of stacking two things together that could aid in the process of dropping body fat or body weight seems like it could be beneficial, whether that's keeping both dosages at effective levels or because there's a combination of two compounds working kind of in the same direction but in two different ways. The total milligram load can be reduced because semaglutide can be taken, say, 500 micrograms to like 2.4 milligrams a week, right? But what if somebody's taking 1 milligram a week, and I don't know what AOD is, but maybe that's a milligram per day or something. So if they're combined together, maybe you could take 800 micrograms of semaglutide and cut the dose back on the AOD so it's less stress on the body. I would stay away from S4 personally if you're not on TRT, just from the negative side effects. Say SARMs are going to lower your natural test levels.
Isn't S4 the one that was like designed to be like a male contraceptive?
It's possible. It's the one of the vision.
S23 or S4, S909. It was one of those ones. It was like designed to be like a male contraceptive, but it turns out that it helps you get a little bit jacked, but it completely kills your testosterone levels.
And it will F up your lipid panel or your like cholesterol. So, and potentially your liver enzymes will be elevated. So like if somebody was like, hey, I want to drop body weight or body fat, and they were like, hey, the three things that you just mentioned, Samuel, I personally would skip the last thing personally. I don't think it's worthwhile unless somebody's on TRT or they have that experience.
I would think with AOD too. I mean, I don't know much about it, but depending on the side effects, because you also wouldn't want necessarily two compounds that have similar side effects that could also stack on top of each other. Because I know one of the main things that the semaglutide people complain about is your stomach for the most part. Nausea, I guess, possibly diarrhea. It's in general just stomach discomfort. I don't know much about it. I mean, I know that from what I've seen, the protocol for semaglutide, they actually start you off real low for like the first month. It's like 250 micrograms a week or 0.25 milligrams to get your body used to it before they'll ramp it up to like half a milligram and then a milligram. So I mean, I guess we could talk about the side effects, but I just wanted to answer this. Well, me and Sam can't recommend anything. I can tell you that I take 10 milligrams of Cialis and it's freaking awesome. My blood pressure has never been lower. My resting heart rate's like 70, 75. And when I'm done, it stays like this for like 2 or 3 minutes. It's really weird.
Wait, we don't understand what you're talking about. When you're done with what stays like what?
So after I have sexy time, and you're done, normally you go back to where it was before, but like I'm going to walk around the room and it's still at attention. It's crazy. But I'm not a doctor. I personally love taking Cialis once a day.
I also definitely really enjoy Cialis. I do it a little bit different because I think that a lot of things should be rotated. I think Cialis is very, very safe. That there's been plenty of people who have been on it for years and years and years. But my girlfriend travels, so I tend to use it intermittently while she's gone, and then use it more so while she's home, just because it's more fun. Right? I just enjoy it more while she's around. And when she's at home, I will use it more so as a pre-workout and then cut back on other pre-workout stimulant or something that I use to always keep that like my body searching for a state of homeostasis. But yes, definitely a big fan. If you're not on it and you'd like to, talk to your doctor about that. It's freaking great. It's great for blood pressure, all sorts of stuff.
On a random subject, well, I mean, it's according to this, but we kind of skipped over semaglutide side effects. But I just want to let you know what stack I've been taking, and it should be like the fucking ultimate skin tearing pump freaking that I should be taking. I'm not real big into the pumps. I think if you're working out hard, you should feel a pump no matter what you're on, personally. But I'm taking every morning 10 milligrams of Cialis, taking 10 milligrams of Rad 140. I'm on 100 milligrams of Deca. I'm on 250 milligrams of Test, and I'm taking a pre-workout, which I actually really, really like. So in theory, I should be skin splitting. I mean, I should be bleeding at the gym just out of my biceps. But I mean, I do feel a pump, but it's not like something where I would be like, bro, you've got to take this stack. You've got to feel these pumps. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just me.
So I used to be a lot more. We talked about this a little bit in the last episode. Yeah, I would agree with this. 2.5 milligrams of Cialis, I would still do. If I had 2.5 milligrams of Cialis, I would take that every single day, 7 days a week, like for perpetuity, just as so many health benefits. But from the stimulant, the pre-workout thing, I've been switching to going just on the pump side to see what it's like, because I've always been on the stimulant side. So now I'm like doubling up on L-citrulline. I'm adding, like this morning, I didn't add it into my pre-workout, so I literally just poured salt into my mouth because it increases like the cellular pressure and shit for pump. And I'm
glycerol,
and beetroot, and I'm taking all those, and then the caffeine or the stimulant side of things, I'm keeping that generally very low, like maybe a little bit of yohimbine potentially, and a little bit of caffeine, because even though like I'm reducing the dose and we're talking about pumps, they are vasoconstricting, right? So if we're taking vasoconstricting things, but like what is the ultimate that we want in the gym? Like for me to know it's a great workout, I'm sore the next day. What's a gauge that I can use today to tell if today was a good workout before I get to tomorrow? One of the best gauges we have is the stupidness of our pump, right? At least how I see it. Like my gauge, if yesterday was a good workout, was if I'm sore today. If I'm sore today, then I know it was a great workout. So like the increase in the pump thing is I'm like I'll see if I can pull up a video.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, like, you know, I mean, when I do, I mean, a lot of that comes down to like mind muscle connection. I mean, like, let's say I go and do the exact same workout. Let's just say you could compare. You know, I mean, is me taking Cialis, like, how much of a difference are you expecting to feel from taking something like Cialis or something before like a workout? I mean, I've done workouts where I don't even take a pre-workout. I'm just drinking water. And I mean, I can feel like my chest is fucking pumped because I've been, you know, because I work on it. I focus on contractions. I don't know.
No, you're right. You're right. How much of like an effect is it actually having kind of thing?
Do you think it's more like of an industry term, you know, like if we're selling pre-workouts, you know, we've got the pump matrix, super pump matrix, you know, and you're going to show some guy that's on, you know, a fucking gram of tren with, you know, a roadmap on his forearms. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I want to go more testing on that. And like, I've even cut back the amount of tea I've been taking pre-workout for the caffeine, because I want to work it down to the point where I like maybe double the pump agents that I'm taking and get rid of any type of stimulant before working out, and test that for like 30, 60, 90 days to see what I actually, if I'm enjoying that and the pumps in the gym. Like, I don't know. I've been really enjoying it so far. Like, as I, you know, was pulling up this picture, like I feel jacked as fuck lately, like in the gym, and I love it. I feel, you know, it's awesome.
I focus since I've been noticing more, like I've been doing some more workout I've actually been working out more in like the 12 to 20 rep range. And I've been doing a lot, like, so let's say I'm doing like back, you know, I'm pulling back and I'm kind of holding at that, you know, peak part of the contraction. And I find I'm feeling that more than anything that like Cialis or Rad 140 or any of that shit. And just some of those exercises, just focusing on the muscle, really focusing on that contraction, not swinging weight, you know what I'm saying? Just really controlled, flexing at the end. I don't know. I feel more of a pump from that than I do from any of the chemicals and shit.
No, I agree. Because you mentally you have to be there. Mentally you have to show up to do what you're describing. Period. And it doesn't matter what you're taking. If you're not, showing up to do that kind of shit, you're just not going to be there whatsoever. I wanted to touch really briefly back on the semaglutide for a second.
Yeah, I got sidetracked with my pump.
No, it's all good because I enjoy that. Anytime I can show a picture of myself and talk about myself, it's fantastic. There's a spinach extract. I don't remember what exactly it's called, but can help with weight loss. So I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. An extract in spinach that can help with weight loss. So I started to do more reading into it. I think they have a lot of like thylakoids, I think is what they're called. And it's a lot of like a protein in there. But what does this do in the body? Well, this helps delay digestion of fat, which then increases your levels of appetite-reducing hormones like GLP-1. So when you look at this spinach extract and you're like, wait, my doctor's not going to give me semaglutide. Well, the spinach extract can actually have a positive effect on GLP-1 and reducing levels of ghrelin as well. So it's working on multiple different ways to actually do this. And I thought this was kind of interesting. Or I like if there's a way to reduce the milligram load but increase the effect, I feel like that's a positive risk reward trade-off there.
Absolutely.
And so when I think about like peptides, are extremely safe, but if there's a way to like manipulate something where you can get more of an effect but by doing something slightly differently, and that's what made me think of the spinach extract, because that has something in it that actually has an effect on GLP-1. And you take it, there was a study, I think out of Switzerland or Finland or something, and they took it with every single meal. And this is again an observation study, right? So they're asking these people questions, but they they reported a increase in the sense of like satiety or like the sensations of feeling full and satisfied after their meal and taking this spinach extract. So what would that be like stacking or combining semaglutide with something like this at the same time? Interesting.
And you know what you guys are going to stack? You're going to stack that motherfucking like button on Sam's channel. You're going to check out my new channel, Testosterone and Men's Health. I don't know. I think it's in the description down there. If you get to 1,000, I'll live stream this exact same thing you just watched. Find Sam Stolt on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I've got my stuff in there. But love you guys. Thank you for watching. Check out the Triggered brand, triggeredbrand.com for all your research. Just like us on social media, share this, let your friends know about it. And we'll definitely see you next time.
Peace. And make sure you leave us a review as well.